Welcome to the top 16 of the Meta Weekly with the new ban list where Gimmick Puppet is gone. Gone from the event. Does that mean there's no branded going at all in the tournament? Maybe there is, I don't know. But watching as long as you can, that greatly supports us. Thank you very much. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Let's go. Starting this off with a regular Purrely. Who has PTSD from getting Gimmick Puppet locked? No more. And I decided to Gimmick Puppet lock on my Master 1 run, not knowing that the deck would get banned. I got Master 1 before the ban list announcement, and then boom, it's now gone. We're going to use the Nor to Chainlink block, not using Gamma to negate and destroy. Now, if you attempt to negate and destroy, you will negate the attempt to set the Purrely Leap, but they could chain the Purrely Happy Memory to protect the Nor from being destroyed. And the problem with that is, so let's think about this. We negate and destroy, we chain Happy, and then we chain Nor to the Happy, we equip the Happy, we set a new trap anyway, and then we negate the first attempt to set the trap, but we don't destroy because the Happy protects us. So it's just not good to Gamma. So that's why we don't do it. So the hope is that the Nor will activate while it doesn't have 5 material, making it negatable and destroyable by the Gamma. But how do we trick them to activate the Nor while we have no monster on the field? What? Medora? No, it's unaffected, mate. I guess you still summon. Okay, this could be the purpose. We're not destroying, we're not negating, but we got 2 bodies on the field now. Maybe that's good, right? This could be the purpose of doing that. Straight to battle, sure. Wiping out the other Purrelys. We're gonna make our main phase 2 plays. Summon the Kepler. Kepler, come to me. Dark Contract to the gate. And on the activation of the effect, not the card, the Nor potentially would have spun it back. We did not. Now we're spinning. We're spinning Kepler back into the deck. Now, why do we do that? If you control a double D monster, you could special summon this card from your hand in defense. Well, we no longer control the double D after searching for the card that needs the double D on the field. Damn. All right, opening this off with our Purrely Street. We have Purrely Leap in the graveyard, returning any amount of Purrely monster in the graveyard up to 3 back into the deck. As we then Pretty Memory, discard the Pot of Peace, summoning our Lily. Lily grabbing the My Friend Purrely grabbing from the deck. A Sleepy, Delicious, or regular Purrely. Regular Purrely it is. Top 3, not so good. Another Purrely Street. It's going to be discard fodder. We're going to equip from the graveyard a Happy to become Happiness. Happiness will be able to search our deck for 1 card after inflicting some damage here. Very nice. Grabbing a Delicious Memory as the X-Purrely Nor pokes for 1100. Now, the X-Purrely Nor is gone in the end phase, so we have to overlay it into a Zeus. Purrely with the Delicious Memory going into a nice and plump E-Purrely Plump. Plump's going to suck up cards from either player's graveyard. Now, the problem with the Plump here is it only has 4 materials. So if we don't have another quick play spell, we can't equip the 5th material. So what you do is you suck up your Pretty Memory to then suck up their card to give you the 5th material. Wow. Instead of going into a Zeus, we're sending that X-Purrely Nor to the graveyard. Again, it was going to spin back in the end phase. And then now we have our second copy of X-Purrely Nor. I don't know about this Nibiru. It's going to trigger the field spell. It's going to trigger the My Friend Purrely. We're going to add up to 3 cards in the graveyard back to the hand and summon a body onto the field, and that body's going to add a card to the hand. So if you lose 1 card, then you gain 5. That's a +4, isn't it? +4 off of a Nibiru. 1, 2, 3, and then body on the field, and then add a card to our hand if we get lucky here. And we got the Sleepy. So there you go. We lost our Xyz to gain 5 cards. And now we have a negate. The Happy wasn't doing anything. It just now turned into a free negate. Okay, why not? Sure. We can equip the Sleepies onto the Beauty. We just sucked up Nibiru. And if we equip the Sleepies onto the Beauty is going to be drawing 2 cards during the standby phase. And we have 3 spins on the X-Purrely Nor. We have 3 spins, draw 2, plus a negate. So we have 4 disruptions. Let's get to it. Let's do it. The Plump couldn't suck up the other Sleepy in the graveyard. What was up with that? Well, okay, we have another Sleepy on. Sure. And let's draw 3 during the standby phase. That's it. Draw 1, draw 2, draw 3. We have Droll and Lockbird. We're going to call with the grave. Woo! We're fingering the Purrely Nor in the graveyard. Now, Purrely Nor, it reads, it's unaffected by activated effects. Well, the effect of Call by the Grave is lingering. So you are going to be negated. That's a negate. That's it. Banish the Nor, and now you have that lingering negate. No draw, no boost, no spin. So we had 4 spins because we gained another card during the end phase, and we got 0 spins, and we're affected. All we have left is a Beauty negate. Does Beauty negate the Gilgamesh? Setting up 2 Pendulum Scales from the deck? That's a negate. Negate. Now the Triple D Headhunt could steal a card the opponent controls. Steal a face-up monster. But instead we're going to the Machine X. Machine X tells me we want to go into Zeus. Yes, Zeus it up. To battle we go. Happy Memory is going to change the battle position of the Machine X. Thus, we can't go into Zeus. So what could we have done? What should we have done? To play around the Beauty, putting us in the defense, could we have still gone into Zeus? Yes. You go, you keep Gilgamesh on the field, which can't be changed to defense. You battle into the Beauty or the Nor, and then you main phase 2 make a Zeus. There you go. Right? Am I right? Am I right or am I right? You battle with your Link into their Xyz, and then you make the Zeus. What? That's what you do. No? Yes. That's what you do. All right. Beauty is going to be sending to the graveyard the Machine X, and Triple D Headhunt, while we control a Triple D, is going to take control of a monster. Target a monster, take control of it. Its effects are negated, so we negated the ability to suck up our Machine X. But the Purrely Nor also has the Pretty Memory, which could have got sucked in, but couldn't because we're under the finger. Now we're no longer under the negation of the finger. The Purrely Nor is back on, and it's got 4 spins. 4 spins plus draw 1. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Movement is Bangia. Maybe you should... oh, we added another term. Thank you. Beauty with the negate. Mate, I don't think so, but we're negated. So we're going to draw. Nor get spinning. We're going to spin the Machine X. We're going to spin the Beauty. We have so many spins, we don't even care. We're just going to spin it all preemptively. Get all that nonsense out of here. You're out. No cards in the field, nothing in the hand. You are done. Purrely Street in the end phase, gaining another material. And because this was a properly summoned Purrely Nor, not through the trap, it doesn't go away in the end phase. Still not enough for lethal damage? Really? They have nothing left, and we could not lethal this up. End phase, equipping the Sleepy Memory. We had a My Friend Purrely activation? No. Slime is here. We're drawing a card. We have Ash. We got Droll. We got Spin. We got Impermanence. Lamia is now here. As we just simply end our turn. Okay. A wild game 1 duel of Double D versus Purrely. And I didn't see any Yubel cards. Are we playing Yubel in this deck beyond the Nightmare Throne? We'll find out. Starting this off with a Nightmare Throne, searching our deck for a 0 attack, 0 defense Fiend. We're going to draw Lockbird, but we got the finger to finger the bird. I did not think so. You're not going to stop us from further adding for the rest of the turn. Now, Copernicus could send a card from the deck to the grave. That's going to yep, okay. Let's Copernicus. Gamma's going to negate. And we could chain Maxi to just draw 1. That would not be as good if we were to instead save it for the next turn. Copernicus also being destroyed. We committed to our normal summon already. Did not Ash Blossom. Okay. We're going to use the Double D Swirl Slime to fusion summon into a Flame King Genghis. We're going to be using the Vice Typhon to fuse the graveyard into another one. Double King Genghis into a Gilgamesh. Okay, sure. 2 level 8s. Wait, one was level 6, the other was level 8. Yep. Gilgamesh setting up 2 Pendulum Scales. Savannah Thomas going to grab the Griffin back to the hand. Griffin come forth in special summon into a Nibiru. Now, the Maxi will draw 2 off of this Nibiru, where it would have only drawn 1 from the Gamma, but the Ash Blossom negates the Maxi. I can't believe we held on to the Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom could have negated the Dark Contract to the gate, tributing off the entire field for a super thick Nibiru token at 6,500 attack, only 1,200 D though. Damn. Double D not looking so good, but Purrely is only as good per quick play a spell they have, and they have none. No quick play spell, no Lily, no regular Purrely, nothing. All they have is now nothing. They have no impermanence, no disruption. We're going all the way. This is it. What does full combo Double D look like without disruption? We're going to return back the Savannah Thomas, special summon the Griffin, making our Abyss King Gilgamesh. Set up the pendulum scales from the deck, double pendulum scale, into a pendulum summon from the hand and from the extra deck. The Savannah Thomas, we're going to discard it to search our deck. Corpinicus is going to be sending from the deck to the grave. We're going to add a Dark Contract or Double D card. We're going to grab the Swirl Slime. Further exceeding into a Wave King Caesar. Wave King Caesar into the Marksman King Tell. King Tell is detaching material to minus some life points and burn for some, burn for life points and reduce the attack here. Now, with the Marksman King Tell being sent to the grave, it's going to send from the deck to the grave a Patient License, which will trigger in the graveyard to add the Double D Orthrus from the extra deck back to our hand, as we then make the Triple D King Genghis, as you then make Machine X. The King Genghis will be reborning from the graveyard, as the Ragnarok is also going to be special summoning a monster from the grave. Come forth, King Caesar, as we also summon our Griffin. Griffin drawing a card, I should say searching for, again, searching more than once in a turn. That is wild. Because we reduced the Nibiru down to 2,000 attack, the King Caesar was big enough to wipe it out. Not enough for lethal damage. As you then main phase 2 this up into another Gilgamesh. The King's Gilgamesh, I'd say the Caesar being sent to the grave, search in our deck for the Swamp King to then fusion summon with, but we didn't fuse. What are our disruptions? If they activate a monster effect, we could suck up their monster. If they activate a monster effect, we can negate it with the Headhunt by taking control of it. So we have about 2 disruptions here. I think the Machine X is about 2 disruptions in itself, so 3 disruption overall. The Flame King Genghis can only, it does nothing actually. The level 8 is the one that can negate a spell trap only during your own turn. Sure. Stray Purrely Street with the Happy Memory. Machine X is a non-target suck. I'm gonna non-target suck you up. Now the Headhunt cannot negate, but I can still suck you. And that's exactly what we're doing. Non-target sucking up the untargetable Lily. Come to me. The Machine X could do it 2 more times actually. Yeah? So not activating the regular Purrely to avoid the suck into an Anima. We're going to then negate the Anima and take control of it. Game 2 going to Triple D with Nightmare Throne. Very well done. Let's hop into Game 3. A lot of quick play spells with the field spell giving us targeting protection. A very powerful turn 1 hand. And let's speed this up. We're drawing 4 cards. 4 cards, potential multiple hand traps, and going into the Purrely Noir, which will be 3 spins and unaffected from all activated effects. Ooh, Gamma. So Gamma could force out the Purrely Leap to be used early, and they'll draw 1 less card. 2 less cards even. Leap, dodge it, Gamma, still negate it, so we don't draw. We don't draw a second card, but we're gonna go for still drawing 2. So Purrely Noir, draw 1, draw 2 instead of 3 and 4. Yup. Come to me, Driver, that's not good. And a regular Purrely was not good enough to draw into a hand trap. We have the Nightmare Throne into the Kepler. How do we deal with an unaffected Purrely Noir? We dealt with it previously by fingering another copy in the graveyard, but there isn't a copy in the grave nor a finger in our hand. So what's the play? We could somehow become bigger than 4,600 defense. Can we get something to 4,700 attack? Very likely not. Goddess is generally a really good out, but there is no Goddess in our extra deck here. Okay. We're going to X Purrely Nord just like that. Now it's affected by card effects, dropping itself down to 4 material. It's still untargetable, but it's now affectable. We get affected by something. So if it were to activate its effect while there's a Machine X in the field, we could give it that good suck. Setting up the double pendulum scales, Corpinicus sending from the deck to the grave the Patient License to add the Zero King Rage from the extra deck back to the hand. We are chaining the X Purrely Nord to the DD Griffin, activating to do what? Gain, then destroy this card. Okay, so we were going to put the Griffin into the extra deck. Did not want that to happen. As we then Pendulum Shokan our Kepler onto the field to now make a second copy of our Gilgamesh. Our first Gilgamesh will now be turning into a Machine X. Sure. End phase. Okay. We're going to be triggering the Purrely Street to equip onto the X Purrely Nord, and we're going to get spinning. Within the end phase, spinning that trap back on the deck. The X Purrely Nord is going to be going away within the end phase. Normal summoning our Purrely. Come to us. Reveal. Nothing. Not a nothing from the top of the deck coming to our hand. And we're going to follow up with the My Friend Purrely, guaranteeing a quick play spell to our hand. And we're now going to be activating it pretty to summon a Lily from the deck. Lily guaranteeing a non-quick play spell to our hand as the Lily now exceeds with the graveyard into the Happiness. Happiness has 4 attacks, 4 searches, and will definitely go into an X Purrely Nord. Now, X Purrely Nord killing itself will trigger the field spell, trigger the My Friend Purrely, adding up to 3 different quick plays in the graveyard back to our hand, and summoning a Purrely onto the field from the deck or graveyard. All 3 quick plays added and a 4th card being summoned. Now, we already activated Lily, so we're not going to activate it again. And now we have Delicious being equipped onto the Happiness. This is lethal damage. This is game. That's it. We're going to search our deck. We just made the Gilgamesh completely indestructible by battle. Every time we search, we reduce by half of its attack. And we have 3 more attacks. And every time we gain another quick play spell, we gain even more attack. Reduce more, but boost more. Attack again, search again. Reduce, but boost. Attack, attack, attack. Mudora, it's over. Let's speed this up. Come to us. Now 3,500 attack, 3050. Searching for a Sleepy, get reducing. Lethal damage. Purely 1-turn kill. Very well done. Good job to both players. Thank you for bringing Triple D to the tournament. Getting top 16 is great. Let's keep on going. Huh? We passed? Well, we do have no plays. Preventer needs a Rescue Ace in the graveyard to banish the summon. Got Evenly Matched, which I think a lot of people think this is better than it is. It's not that good against Yubel. If Yubel sets up an Apollo USA and a Soul of Rage, and you evenly match their field, they're still going to have Apollo USA, and they're still going to have a Soul of Rage. They're only going to lose a Phantom of Yubel and their Escape. So you're pretty much just making them lose 2 disruptions, and they'll still have 5 to 6 more disruptions afterward. We are chaining Maxi to the Phantom of Yubel, popping a card from the deck. We are negating the Ash Blossom from negating our Samsara D Lotus to summon our Spirit of Yubel onto the field from the deck. Setting up Nightmare Throne into our D Lotus to our hand. We're going to return from the graveyard back on the deck to summon another Phantom of Yubel. And did we enter battle phase and then end our turn? I don't think it shows it in the duel log here. All right, let's get to it. Battle phase, evenly match. No Apollo USA, no Soul of Rage, no Escape of the Unchained. We just have a Phantom of Yubel ready to negate. Now, if we activate Phantom of Yubel, there's a window where we have no monster on the field to then activate the Psyframe Gear Gamma. And when we destroy Yubel from the deck, we don't have to summon a monster onto the field. So what does that tell you? If they destroy a Spirit of Yubel, they don't summon Yubel, they have to have Gamma, right? Let's see the mind gains that happen here. We're going to Bonfire, searching for the Poplar trigger. We're not going to use the Phantom of Yubel. We're going to Original Sinful, summon for the deck, Hydrant likely going to be a negate here. That's exactly what we're doing, negate. Now, do we summon a Yubel on the field or do we pass? We killed, we're doing it. Oh my gosh, he maxied in response to the Spirit of Yubel, making the Gamma activatable, but still, Gammaing the Maxi here is just a draw 1. It's probably still not worth it to do, but I would think you don't summon Yubel, you wait for Turbulence, and then you negate the Turbulence. Am I crazy in saying this? I think that would be the best play, right? You don't summon Yubel. You hold Gamma for Turbulence, and you just don't summon a body on the field. It's main phase 2, by the way. Wait, are we banishing Yubel to then play into the Gamma? Yes, okay. We're gonna build a Gamma. Gamma's gonna be activatable. Perfect. But there's nothing to even Gamma, so they didn't even have a Turbulence play that you would potentially have to worry about. Nicely done. D Lotus is going to come forth and summon a Spirit of Yubel onto the field. We're not going to imperm early the Little Knight. We're allowing it to just banish our Spirit of Yubel. Sure, we don't care that much about that. As we then add from the deck, setting onto the field a Nightmare Pain with no Dark Monster to pop. So we're going to return 2 Yubel cards of the graveyard back into the deck to summon our Phantom of Yubel, returning our Spirit of Yubel back on the field. We have a Monster Negate, which we're using right here, right now. Stop the Hydrant from searching from the deck. Why would not summoning Yubel give the Gamma? Wouldn't not summoning give the Gamma away? So, but if you then know they have Gamma, what are you going to do? If you have a Turbulence play, you're just not going to activate Turbulence. How do you play around a Gamma if you know they have Gamma with your Turbulence? How do you do it? You try to activate something else? I mean, you're eventually going to have to activate Turbulence, and you don't really have a definitive way to stop the Gamma. You could triple T, look at their hand. That would be a way if you had a Turbulence play. We have Link Karibo onto the field here, searching for our Hydrant with our original Sinful Spoils. We already used up our normal summon, though. We're going to be reborning from the graveyard our Preventer for the Shokanning into Little Knight. Little Knight on summon, banishing the Spirit of Yubel off of the field. Now we have Contain, which is activatable with the Hydrant on field. We have double Little Knight. We can contain him onto the field, negating it, and it cannot be used for the extra deck. Just like that. What the heck happened? Double Little Knight. Thank you very much. Let's hop on the next duel. Is Ashened? We didn't get Ashened. We have 0 Ashened. Nightmare Throne searching for the D Lotus. D Lotus jumping off the field into an Ash Blossom. So why you want to play Gamma? Gamma is too good in Yubel. Most people are activating Maxi early to play around the Phantom of Yubel. People love Ashen, the D Lotus, so the Gamma on that is also great. I think it's a must include at this point. We're going to Bonfire search our deck, holding onto the Ash Blossom for likely an original Sinful, or maybe a Hydrant. We're going to Maxi in response to the Poplar. Both players playing right into a potential Gamma. Yep, we drawn off of that. It is going through, but it's still worth it potentially to try to go into a Turbulence. No, we're passing. The Extinguish is dead. You cannot activate Extinguish unless we control a Rescue Ace monster. In the emergency, you would think incorrectly that it goes into a Rescue Ace monster. Not in this case. It's not going to have a Rescue Ace in the field to make the Extinguish activatable. We're going to chain Maxi as the Ash Blossom negates the Maxi in response to the Spirit Gates. Negate. And let's now resolve it. Reborn from the grave, our D Lotus. D Lotus could have been extinguished. We are scooping it up. We are done. Let's hop into game 3. Bonfire for Poplar. We have no hand traps whatsoever, so let's speed this up. So how many disruptions are we looking at here? We're looking at 4 Monster Negate, a Monster Destroy, a Monster Negate, and flip a monster face down. That is 7 disruptions that we have to play through with our 6-card hand. Begin. And under Max C, which may draw into more disruptions. So having to waste the finger on the Max C when there's already 7 disruptions we have to play through, not good. So we're now 5 cards in the hand to play through 7 disruptions. A good way to play around Apollo USA is chain link blocking good effects. An effect that you don't want to get negated by Apollo, you put on the lower chain link with another trigger effect. So we have the Spirit of Yubel getting negated by the Apollo USA. You're not going to summon a Yubel from the deck here. We're going to summon Squirmer and go right into Typhon. So Typhon would have stopped Apollo from negating, but the Typhon also stopped us from summoning a Yubel from the deck because when you summon it, you can't summon for the rest of the turn. That's it. Immediately it's applied, you are not going to be able to summon for the rest of the turn. Now, it does have the ability to detach a material, spin a monster on the field back to the hand, getting rid of the Apollo USA, but We have Contain, and it's not a quick effect, so we could extinguish it before it even activates, or negate it when it activates. Or we could even flip it face down with the Preventer, which is not 3,000 or more attack. So this is desperate. Looks like we're extinguishing it. You have been extinguished. RIP. Now we have the Eternal Favorite, which if we summon Unchained Link 2 or higher, the Spirit of Yubel will be able to activate in response to its own summon. Otherwise, it will not be activatable. Yeah, I mean, this is it for Yubel, huh? How are we really going to play around this? This is something. Nightmare Phoenix. Phoenix on summon, discarding to destroy the Eternal Favorite. Eternal Favorite, Unchained Link 2 or higher, is going to be summoning nothing because Rescue's going to steal the Spirit of Yubel. Your Spirit of Yubel, because we control Hydrant, is now mine. Damn, ain't that something? Let's keep on going into Promethean Princess. Promethean's going to be reborning Air Turbulence. 8,100 damage on the field. Nicky Boy defeating Yubel with Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace and Yubel are both getting newer support to become a lot better. Fiendsmith makes Rescue Ace a lot better. Fiendsmith makes Yubel a lot better. And we also don't have Varudras yet, which is a really good rank 10 for Yubel. Let's get to it. Let's hop in another match. Make a Rescue Ace video using SP? I probably should, right? Opening the Spirit Gates, come to us, Dark Beckoning. We're going to return Yubel in the Dark Beckoning to now play around that Nibiru and potentially the Magna Hut also. With how many negates on this thing? 3,200 quadra negate. This is so much disruption. We have negate, 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 5 monster negates, pop a card on the field mate, link off with the special summon monster, Little Knight on summon banished, Little Knight secondary effect. That's 9 disruptions that we have to play through. And we do have Call by the Grave to finger the Phantom of Yubel to stop that effect, but it might be better to finger the Yama instead. And the problem with fingering Yama is Yama banishes by cost when it activates after a monster on the field is destroyed. So on the activation of Escape of Unchained, pop in the Soul of Rage, we probably want to finger the Yama before the resolution of the escape, which would then trigger the Yama, dodging the finger. And I think that'd be the best use of finger. Fingering the Phantom of Yubel is not going to be as good. Let's see. Mekknight Purple, summoning into the column where there are 2 or more cards in the same column. We're going to Apollo USA negates as we use the Purple Nightfall to target itself. We're going to use the Soul of Rage to then pop the Nightfall, and this is where we had to finger. Now, we could instead finger the Soul of Rage instead of the Yama, so we could let the Yama activate, but the problem with waiting for the Yama to activate, even if you finger the Soul of Rage, the Yama does not target. So it's going to summon something else instead. Soul of Rage is going to be adding a card from the grave back to the hand. The Nightfall has been successfully negated. Yama trigger, Soul of Rage trigger, add the D-Lotus and the graveyard back to the hand, and we're not even fingering the Soul of Rage. We're keeping the Call by the Grave for the Phantom of Yubel instead. Are we going to regret that? We're going to summon a Bestia Lubellion, which this may be a good opportunity to link off of the Lubellion right here, right now. And that's exactly what we're doing. Lil Knight is here on summon, activate. Yeah, dude, we're saving our finger for next game. Now, what if he used his finger exactly as I was encouraging? We still would have lost. I mean, 1 finger versus 9 disruptions. It's just 1 finger. All right, we are Mekknight losing game 1, choosing for Yubel to go first for game 2. So we are a blind second Mekknight deck where we want to go second. Okay, if you go second, you're more likely to align cards in the same column, 2 or more cards, to then special summon your Mekknights in that column. Imperm, negate the Dark Beckoning Beast when there's already... I don't like this at all because you could... Let's say, what are you trying to stop here? D-Lotus being summoned, right? You make an Almirage, you then reborn the Dark Beckoning Beast, you then additionally summon your D-Lotus, and it's like, what did we accomplish? It's not good. Mirage, as I said, discard, but we could then instead reborn the Spirit of Yubel since we already have access to the Spirit of Yubel. But we have double impermanence, so sure. First imperm we were going to use wildly, but then the Grave Squirmer dodges the imperm. That's it. Summon, pop, no imperm in sight. Now, should you really be worried about a Grave Squirmer on your imperm? Is it like a Kieran? Is it played as much? It's not, but it's still a reality that could happen. So if we look at the Grave Squirmer here to see the amount that's used in Yubel, 21% at 3, so they're most likely going to be playing 2. 79% at least likely to have a copy in the hand, so you do the math on that yourself. We got Cross Sheep. Grave Squirmer is going to reborn a monster from the graveyard, Spirit of Yubel, all the way over here. Nightmare Pain, pop it, grabbing an Eternal Favorite, which most people do not play, but it gives you the ability to link off, I should say, fusion with the entire field. SP, Little Knight, is there anything worth banishing on its summon? There is not. Phantom of Yubel plus the Little Knight, and we're done. So if we were to negate a monster effect with our Phantom of Yubel, that's going to get us Yubel, which the Eternal Favorite will then be able to fuse with the entire field with. And we know we're playing against Mekknight, and we put cards in the same column. Don't do that. We get to summon the Eclipse for free. Free summon. Gursu is going to attempt to send a card from the deck to the grave, which will be negated. No send, not going to happen. If you control no other monsters, you could summon a World Legacy token, which we already summoned our Indigo, or that's what it's called, right? Yes, the Indigo. As we then make the Galatea into Dingursu. On summon, non-target, send a card from the field to the grave. Okay, so we're just going to battle phase to Zeus, potentially. We're going to Druid Swarm, banish from the opposing graveyard. Zeus is now here. Let's go. We activated Druid Swarm, and Little Knight could have banished the Dingursu. That was kind of risky, no? Zeus, wipe the fields. Phantom of Yubel, negate. I don't think so, mate. We're now summoning a Yubel from the deck. We could then discard Gamma to fuse the fields. We're going to wait. Little Knight is here. Little Knight on summon, activate to banish a card in the fields. Getting rid of the Nightmare Pain. Druid Swarm's going to send Yubel to the graveyard, which will not trigger its effect. And we're not going to fuse. We're chilling. Goodbye to the Nightmare Pain. We don't have a way to recycle Nightmare Pain, but most Yubel players play 2 Nightmare Pain. Spirit of Yubel is going to be reborn from the grave by discarding the Gamma through the gates. Come to us our second copy of Nightmare Pain. Using the Eternal Favorite to reborn a banished Spirit of Yubel back onto the field to then return it back on the deck to summon a Phantom of Yubel. Nightmare Pain, pop in the Spirit of Yubel to then summon a Yubel from the deck, plus adding our Samsara Delotus, which we can normal summon to then summon from the deck a Spirit of Yubel. This will be 1,600 damage reflected 4 times. 16, 32, 48, game. That's it. Tyler with Yubel with the 2-0 victory. Let's go. That was an intense lethal attack. I feel like the field went extra there. Was that just me, or the fields now have an extra lethal animation? All right, let's get to it. Hydrant searching for a Turbulence. Alert, come to us any monster from the deck because we have Hydrant on the field. Further linking this up in a Link Karibo, now we could summon Preventer by banishing from the grave the Hydrant. And then if we get Preventer in the grave, it will reborn the Hydrant back onto the field. Little Knight. You know, there's a lot of discussion about Yu-Gi-Oh! Where the problem is 1-card combos. I feel like more 1-card combos should force you to lose a card from your hand. More cards should be like Diablo Star. I think so. If you want to resolve even just any card, it should be on resolution discard, or cost discard, or banish, or return back to the deck. I feel like more cards need to cost the hand. Because the problem with these 1-card combos is having hand traps in addition to these 1-card combos. And then it's also more beneficial to disrupt a 1-card combo if they're also losing a card from the hand. So we need to punish those 1-card combos more as just making them just less cost effective. Come to us, Dark Beckoning Beast. I think in that way you could then still have 1-card combos. They're just cost more and then a bigger benefit to disrupt. We are going to be banishing the Dark Beckoning off the field. So right now, the Spirit Gates is not activatable. So, I mean, that's really effective. Negating a Dark Beckoning is no good because you then link it off for an Almirage. It's in the graveyard, making the Spirit Gates activatable. So some people may be thinking it makes sense to discard from your hand, then reborn it, right? It's a legal play you could do, but it's only activatable if you have another card in the graveyard to even make that activation. So you actually cannot do that. Spirit of Yubel in the hand or D-Lotus would not be summonable. But now by getting a Spirit of Yubel in the graveyard, now you can discard whatever you want to summon that Spirit of Yubel from the grave. We're going to extinguish the Yubel. And Yubel is activatable because we didn't have a Hydrant on the field. We could have chained Emergency'd our Hydrant onto the field so that Yubel wouldn't have not been activatable if we wanted to. But then we could have still used the Nightmare Throne to summon the Terra Incarnate anyway. Come forth, Phantom of Yubel, ready to stop a monster effect. Are we stopping the Max C? Yes, we are. We're going to be popping a Spirit of Yubel to summon a Yubel from the deck. We're going to rescue our Hydrant from the graveyard back onto the field as the Hydrant now gets fingered. Negate the Hydrant for 2 turns. It's not going to be able to search our deck for a monster, but the Hydrant is still giving the additional benefits onto a card like Contain, where you would not be able to use the extra deck because it's not specifically the effect of the Hydrant itself, it's on Contain. Spirit of Yubel on summon, activating, being chainlink blocked by another Spirit of Yubel. The Contain does not care about you being chainlink blocked. We're still going to negate, but since you're negating the card, we could just have the card leave the field. So Spirit of Yubel getting popped by Shavara, dodge the negate. Come forth, Impulse sending from the field our Turbulence. As you now have Shavara on the field, Shavara locking us into Fiend-type monsters only. Setting up that Nightmare Pain. We are going to be able to reflect 3,000 damage through the Impulse being on the field in defense. Come forth Yama. Yama could add the Shavara in the graveyard back to our hand. Impulse could chain directly to a monster effect to summon a Rescue Ace from the deck, which will be our Fire Attacker. If you add to the hand from the field's graveyard deck, it does not matter. The Fire Attacker will trigger, draw 2, discard 1 to draw into a hand trap. We now get to negate the Nightmare Pain. Very well done. So if you have a card that could spin a card in the field back to the hand while you have a Fire Attacker on the field, it will trigger to draw 2, discard 1. Anguish is here to link off with the Link Kuriboh, making the access code talker. So this is the big question of, should I just not summon against Yubel so they don't lethal me with the Yubels? Well, here's an access code talker. Magna Hut, banishing the Link Kuriboh. We have 7,800 damage on the field. Return from the graveyard back into the deck here. Double return for double Phantom of Yubel. We get to double reflect, wipe out the monster, then 5,300 for game. What the hell? It doesn't matter. Don't put a big monster on the field. Okay, the monster's not big enough, so you can't reflect as much damage, but then the Bestial is big enough to take it out, then attack directly for the access code talker. You're screwed with a big monster. You're screwed with not enough monsters. You're just screwed. Hydrants. We're not going to Ash Blossom the Hydrant. We're saving it for an emergency. You can't use Ash Blossom on Turbulence. It does not add from the deck. It sets onto the field just like a Spirit of Yubel setting from the deck to the field, but it has the option to also add, so that's why you can Ash a Spirit of Yubel. It's not an option with Turbulence. It's only set onto the field. This could be our Ash Blossom, but it's still not that good because we're not actually playing Snake Eye Ash, I would say. Turbulence, come forth and banish. And I want to say right here, right now, for anyone that's thinking about the Gimmick Puppet ban, this is why anything other than the Puppet is not good. Right here, this field. The Puppet applied the continuous effect, so you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn. So any other monster that has a continuous effect that says while it's face up, you can't special summon. Subversion, even if it's on your field, you could Subversion push that monster into your own back row. So you could Bonfire, normal summon Poplar, Poplar search, Subversion, push the monster in the back row, and you're no longer locked. So you're not going to really have to worry about the Puppet again. Anything Puppet-like, that is. With Poplar being popular, and it's very popular. Setting up just 3 back row cards, so this is actually a downside for Rescue Ace that we had 2 traps in our hand that we couldn't set from the deck. So what do we have here? Our disruptions are negate, 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 and destroy plus flip face down. We have 6 disruptions to play through. 6 disruptions versus 6 cards in the hand. Let's go. Emergency into the Preventer. Preventer will then be reborning a banished monster onto the field. Should we have attempted to Ash that, eating just negate off the Apollo, which would have happened. So this is fine. The card's not being negated. We still have the effect of additionally normal summoning if we want, when we activate our Spirit Gates to search our deck. Come to us, we could still additionally normal summon it, which we just did. Now, Rescue's gonna rescue the Preventer to flip a monster face down, potentially to stop a Link summon. That's exactly what we're doing. Stopping the Yama summon. Almirage plus another monster will be a Little Knight. We're going to use Alert to add from the deck to our hand as the Ash Blossom negates. And we don't even use the Apollo to negate. We don't care. Nope. Not going to negate that Ash because the Alert wasn't that important. And now we're going to summon a Phantom of Yubel, which we could very easily extinguish or contain. Oh, Almirage protecting Phantom of Yubel from being destroyed by the Extinguish. Now, we can't chain Contain to the activation of Yubel negating a monster effect, but we could still chain Apollo to it. Otherwise, we're going to have to preemptively contain the Phantom of Yubel. But if you negate that Phantom of Yubel, they could then summon another one potentially. So you may not even want to do that. Protected. Nicely done. Now, Extinguish has another part of the effect. If you have a Hydrant, the monster you destroy cannot activate for the rest of the turn. But does it have to be destroyed? The effect says destroy, then if you currently control a Hydrant, you cannot activate the effects of that destroyed monster. Well, obviously within that sentence, the monster was not destroyed. Also, it says then. Nothing after then happens if before then did not happen. We did not destroy it, so then nothing happens. The effect afterward does not matter. You don't even have to read it. We have Spirit of Yubel being destroyed from the deck to come forth and summon a Yubel from the deck. We're now containing preemptively. And as I said, we could just summon another Phantom of Yubel if we want to. Spirit of Yubel is going to be negated by the Apollo USA, unfortunately. No Nightmare Pain for you. Let's do. For the Shokaning into a Yama, which, again, Apollo can use its final negate on. The Hydrant cannot be attacked into through its own effect, but we could still take out the Apollo USA at 0 attack. We're going to now link this up into a Typhon. We cannot summon for the rest of the turn. Big enough to take out the Preventer, and we also have the effect to spin a monster on the field. Back to the hand. Goodbye to the Apollo USA. Recycling Apollo. Well, I guess the Apollo could have turned into a Zealantis, which would have been a fear. Sure. Subversion. Pushing the Phantom of Yubel into the back row. Now, the Typhon still has the active effect, even though with no Xyz materials, it states that 3,000 or more, it does not matter, it's gone. Just like that. So recycling our Extinguish with the emergency and through the effect of Hydrant, we can activate the newly set Extinguish to take out the Typhon. We're now chaining Maxi to the Yama. After a monster has been destroyed, we could summon a Fiend from our hand or grave. Spirit of Yubel, adding a Nightmare Pain to be used next turn. Original Sinful, return the Poplar back in the deck to search for a Hydrant. Sure. Hydrant activates, search our deck. We have no disruption whatsoever. We got full play, full wombo combo. Rescue Ace, return up to 4 Rescue Ace cards in the grave or banished back in the deck to draw 1. Come to me. Is there an Ash in the opposing player's graveyard? There is. So we can make a Hida to then steal it and make a Promethean Princess to reborn our Turbulence. Or Dark instead, sure. Dark, steal a Dark monster, make the Promethean Princess, reborn the Turbulence, then Turbulence going to set up to 4 cards from the deck. Let's speed this up. Yup. Extinguish, Contain, Emergency. And we're going to additionally summon our Hydrant into a Phoenix, discard, pop the field spells, draw a card because we were co-linked, by the way, into now making the Raging Phoenix into a Zealantis. We're going to rescue a monster onto the field. Turbulence come forth. Are we Zealantis banishing the field to then resummon the Spirit of Yubel? If we destroy Spirit of Yubel, it summons a Yubel. If it's destroyed in any way, destroy Spirit of Yubel. It does not matter that it's face down. It's been destroyed. So Spirit of Yubel now summon Yubel. But we're going to finger it. We got the finger just like that. Even if we follow up Zealantis, pop the Yubel, it then summons a Terry Incarnate. So normally the Zealantis combo is not good enough to beat Yubel, but if you got that finger, we got it, taking this into game 3. Shotgunning our Phantom of Yubel, which will play around a Max C that we did not have. Ending our turn, that's all we had. We have a Monster Negate plus a finger and Ash. Let's reinforce our hand. Come to us, Impulse, and we're ready with that Triple Tactics talent if you were to activate that Phantom or Ash. Discard with Diablo Star to come forth and summon, setting up a Subversion to push that Phantom of Yubel into the back row you go. Additionally, summoning our Impulse, send Impulse to summon from the deck, nothing, as the Ash Blossom negates. So we can now follow up Triple Tactics talent, mate. We already used up our normal summon. We're going to also finger the Impulse from the graveyard. Okay. So we think maybe they had a Turbulence in the hand, right? If they have Turbulence in the hand, the Hydrant and the Impulse in the graveyard would be needed to banish to summon the Turbulence. So we're playing around a Turbulence in hand. Draw 2. No Turbulence. Bonfire, come to us, Poplar, trigger, special summon itself onto the field. Yup. And we have no search as we then make Hida. Hida, reborn the... Wouldn't banish the Hydrant be better? Right? Promethean's going to be able to reborn the Hydrant from the graveyard. Hydrant has not even activated its effect yet. Why did we not finger the Hydrant? We fingered Impulse instead. We're making a Raging Phoenix. This is turn 2, actually. Okay. We have 5,600 damage, not enough for lethal. Prevents are not activatable to flip a card in the field face down. Further linking this off into a Sunlight Wolf, triggering the Preventer to reborn the Hydrant to where the Wolf is pointing to, adding back the engraved Preventer, setting up with the Contain, and get ready to contain a Negate plus Ash Blossom Negate. Maxi into a Typhon, but we could contain it if we want to. I talked about this with the Typhon reveal. The biggest counter to Typhon is Promethean Princess. That's the main way to deal with it. It's gone. It has no destruction protection for some reason. I feel like it should be protected from destruction while it has an Xyz material, can't be destroyed. Something like that? No? Would that be too much? Raging Phoenix reborning itself back onto the field. Triple Tactics talent, attempting to draw 2 as the Ash Blossom negates. Typhon overrated. Typhon is a good card, and most top-tier decks are definitely playing it. But, you know, it's not crazy. It's not really like super swing in a bunch of games. Lethal damage. It's really good in Yubel because the self-balancing part of Typhon is it's supposed to be using your best monster to summon it. But in Yubel, your best monsters are 0 attack. So it's not really balanced in that aspect where you can now have a Phantom of Yubel plus a Typhon on the field. That's what makes it so good in Yubel. Well, you know, gets a normal summon. It's still a level 2, kind of like summoning a Max C. We're then going to special summon alongside it our Spright Red while we control level 2, making the gigantic Spright to then summon for the deck. Nothing as the Ash Blossom negates. We can now follow up Triple Tactics talent to draw 2 or look at that hand. What are we doing? We're going for that draw 2 play. Come to us, red. Now, the red says you can only special summon the red once per turn this way. And even if you didn't, you still can't summon it. It's a level/link 2, not level/rank. So, not summonable. Got Smashers, though, which will non-target banish a card on the field. We're going to use Abomination Prison, searching for Unchained Twin Aruha, activating to target the Abomination's Prison to destroy it. And when destroyed, we are going to be summoning an Unchained for the deck. We're also chaining Shavara to a Max C. Now, Unchained was the #1 deck in the TCG. #1. But they didn't have Max C. And we just Max C'd against Unchained. So that is the biggest out, the biggest reason why it's not that good in Master Duel. So let's see what they could do under that Max C. So we at least dodge the Max C with the Shavara. And if we can get Shavara into the graveyard, they'll just draw 1 more card. And we could set an escape or chamber from the deck, and then maybe just ending on that may be good enough. Summoning for the deck, Abominable Unchained. We're still special summoning a ton under the Max C. We don't care about Max C. 8,500 damage on the field. We're going to non-target pop a card on the field. We're going to chain Spright Smashers, banishing likely the 3k off the field. No, the 2k off the field it goes, as they only have 6,500 damage, now 5k. activating a Ruha to summon from the deck Shavara, further Shokaning into a Lord Yama. Yama searching the deck or graveyard. Shavara setting from the deck a trap. Now Shayama in the graveyard is activatable. So we should win, right? Shayama summons at 7,000 damage, pop in the chamber, summoning a monster from the deck, and that's game. We have to top deck an Ash Blossom for it to not be game, or a Nibiru. Spright playing Nibiru? Probably not, right? 7,000, summon 85, just like that. Lethal damage, Unchained winning against Max C. Ain't no way. Incredible. Good job, Unchained. Now, if Unchained went first, then got Max Seed, you can't really go all out against a Maxi going first. Going second, we go for that game. And here's the shifter. For both turns. That's it. Any card sent to the grave, even monster, spell, trap, it does not matter. It is going to get banished. Grabbing a Dark Beckoning, special summoning the Spright red, additionally summon the Dark Beckoning, Shokan into Gigantic Spright. We have the Ash Blossom to negate the Gigantic Spright. Doesn't detach as a cost, it's an effect to detach the card that is a material. Nicely done. We couldn't use Spright red to negate because the Gigantic Spright detaching as an effect would be off the field and then there'd be nothing to detach and we wouldn't summon anyway. So the red was not a negate. Let's go, let's go. Off the top of the deck, we have Rakea. Rakea popping our back row card. As I said, our banished destroyed card is still activating, triggering the Abominable Unchained. We're going to Spright red, tribute off the Gigantic Spright to not only negate, but also to destroy the Abominable Unchained. It is now banished. It is gone for good as we summon for the deck of Shayama. Shayama, pop Rakea, pop the back row, take out the Spirit Gates, trigger Rakea, summon for the deck Shavara. Shavara wants to go to the graveyard. So this is not ideal. We're going to call by the grave, finger the Dimension Shifter in response to the Magna Hut trying to summon itself onto the field. Ain't happening. Now, what are we doing from here? We could make a Caesar. Rank 6 Xyz, double special summon negate. An effect to special summon, like the Magna Hut, will be negated and destroyed. An inherent special summon, like special summoning a red or a jet, will not be negated. So we could summon Kid, special carrot, and it won't be negated. Perfect. Mosquito. Huh? The Mosquito is here. Mosquito attacking does not get destroyed as we then go into a Zeus. Just like that. Caesar can't negate inherent special summons. Only an effect to special summon. Or material Zeus. And we're just waiting. We don't have to wipe it away now. We could wait. This is fine. I guess we're not waiting. We're just going to draw a phase, send it to the graveyard, trigger Shavara. So the hard once return effect of Shavara to send a card, making sure it triggers on their turn, not on your own, so it would not trigger again. I guess that would be the reasoning. Now we're going to be reborning the Shayama by popping the back row, summoning another Shavara from the deck, send the field again, and now we are in the Evil Eye engine. We sent a Basal Trice and a Gorgono from the deck to the graveyard. The Gorgono is going to discard a card to search our deck for the Evil Eye domain. We have not committed to a normal summon yet. Searching for Surzeal, which will be normal summon. Searching our deck for the Evil Eye reemergence. Selene is going to pay 1,000 and put itself onto the field, equipping onto the Surzeal. Surzeal is now completely unstoppable. It's untargetable, indestructible by battle and card effects, summoning 2 tokens in the field, further linking this up into a Yama. What? Okay, double token with the reemergence to make a Yama. That is the Evil Eye engine. Sure, that's something. Evil Eye Unleashed is continually burning because every time you activate a non-Evil Eye effect, right? Is that what's happening? What's going on? Each time you activate a non-Evil Eye card or effect, you lose 500 life. So Konami's trying to tell you to stop. You can't put Evil Eye with a non-Evil Eye deck. And Frost Signer does not care. Soul of Anguish is here. Linking off with the Zeus, which is another non-Evil Eye effect, making the Unchained Abomination 9,100 damage on the field. Magna Hut on the attack, blocking the attack, blocking lethal damage. We're going to Surzeal. Now, what does Surzeal do? Target a special summon monster and destroy it. just like that, we in fact have lethal damage with Evil Eye Unchained. Yes, I love it. I need your D, I'm stealing it. This is my deck now. Holy moly, Frost Signer, this is great. Gia, are you gonna play this? Gia plays Unchained. She's been looking for new ways to make the deck more exciting, and she likes husbandos, right? Gia, are you looking at the screen right now?
Yeah.
Do you like Surziel? How about, do you like Surziel the Link 3? Yeah? That's pretty cool. That would be in your deck, I hope so, right? Do they have room for this? Evil Eye Unchained. Begin. Shavar limited to 1 in TCG. That's how good the deck is in TCG. We have Imperm onto the Poplar, attempting to search for the original Sinful. I do not think so. You're out of here. Now, how do you know when to Imperm a Poplar? If it's a normal summon, you could be more likely to want to Imperm the Poplar. If it's a special summon Poplar, you very likely, depending on the situation of the field in hand, you would not want to Imperm it. All right, all they have is Imperm Ash and Max C. As we Spirit Gates, grab the Dark Beckoning, search in our deck, field spell triggering, summoning the Snake Eye Flameburst from the back row, which is not turning into a form of disruption. We're going to Ash Blossom, negate that Max C, mates, as Jack O'Neil still has Imperm and Ash. So when do we Imperm? When do we Ash? I guess we simply negate the Yama. We have a Chaos Summoning Beast through the effect of the Dark Beckoning, additional summon, Flameburst summoning the Poplar from the back row to search for a follow-up play. Again, no form of disruption outside of the Imperm and the Ash Blossom. Yama, activate, Imperm, negate. Just like that, we're going to chain Super Poly. Now, had you used Ash Blossom instead, you would not be able to chain Super Poly to dodge the negates. We will get to search our deck. And what are we fusing with? We're fusing the Yama and Link Karibo into a Moo Dragon. Yama's going to successfully go through, searching for a Shavara. Now, how do we activate the Shavara? We need a Fiend on the field or a face-down card, so we're going to Reborn with the Grave Squirmer. Big enough with Moo Dragon to take out the Poplar, equipping itself back into the back row. Shavara pop Dark Beckoning, Link off in a Soul Rage, set and escape from the deck. Not ashable. Can't ash it. That's it. Set from the deck, not search. We have a pop. We have a Link off. This is pretty good. Now, the turn player, Jack O'Neil, could make the first play before they could activate the Soul of Rage. What we could do if we wanted to, we could use the Escape of Unchained within the draw phase, but otherwise, we could activate Flameburst to push the Soul Rage, but then we could chain Link off with Flameburst. What are we going to do? We are doing exactly that. We're going to try to push the Soul Rage into the backer. We're going to chain Escape of the Unchained, taking out the Flameburst. Now, there is not 2 level 1 fires to Reborn with the Flameburst, so that's it. Yama triggering after a card you control has been destroyed. Non-target, Reborn the Soul of Rage. Soul Rage is now ready to link off with a special summon monster, making Little Knight, and then banishing. So through the Soul of Rage, we have about triple disruption. And we are going to get pushed in the back row, at least being forced to use our effect of the Subversion. Soul of Rage is going to attempt to link off with Poplar, and Link Karibo is going to dodge the link. So no Little Knight banish, no secondary Little Knight banish, as the Soul of Rage is now stuck in the back row. Can Shavara pop a Soul of Rage in the back row? No, it has to pop a face down or a Fiend monster. It's not a Fiend monster. It's a continuous spell, that's it. And good on, is this new that Konami's showing it like that? That's good. We're going to summon a Snake Eye Oak from the deck, Reborn the Poplar from the grave, activate to send itself plus Flameburst to summon another Flameburst in the deck, Flameburst trigger, Reborn the Oak and the Poplar. Field spells boosting up all of the level 1s. Ida's going to steal a fire monster from the graveyard, come to me Ash Blossom. For the Shokan into Promethean Princess, 7,700 damage, now lethal, still going. Raging Phoenix into Zealantis. Is this necessary? We're going to send to summon Diabostar, set up a Wanted Seeker. Perfect 8,000 damage. Very well done. Jack O'Neil taking a Game 1 victory. Yubel is losing today. Losing to Rescue Ace. Losing to Snake Eye. What is going on? Come to us, Dark Beckoning Beast, Imperm, negate the Dark Beckoning Beast. So the additional, I really don't like this, by the way. If we don't have a Spirit Gates, then this could be potentially a good play. It's a high risk, high reward. If there already is a Spirit Gates, this is just, I don't like it. Not one bit. We're going to summon a D-Lotus from the deck by discarding a Yubel. We do have another Imperm. You could say that at least. Spirit of Yubel, setting up a Mature Chronicle. If you special summon 5 Yubel monsters, you can now search your deck for a Super Poly. Nightmare Pain, pop in the Spirit of Yubel, summoning a Yubel. Ghost Bell, negating Yubel. Wow, okay. That was, no one saw that coming. Grave Scormer special summoning alongside the Dark Beckoning Beast into Cross Sheep. Now, we are surely in the Nibiru zone. We're going to Nibiru right here, right now. Why didn't we wait for something better? Well, you're waiting for a Phantom of Yubel to be summoned, and then the Nibiru would be negated. All right. We're going to Grave Squirmer, reborn from the graveyard, our Spirit of Yubel. The other Imperm is blocked now, by the way. We have the Mature Chronicle. So, I guess Imperm Phantom of Yubel, but then you have to hope that they don't summon a second copy of Phantom of Yubel. You'd have to Imperm Yubel, and then on the resolution, Nibiru. But even while waiting to make that play, they could get 2 copies of Phantom of Yubel, which you may be afraid of. And we are removing how many counters? We're gonna banish a card from the deck. This is a really weird strategy that, because Yu-Gi-Oh! So fast, we don't think about this being a play. This could banish any card from your deck, and then next turn, you could add any banished card back to your hand. So you could banish an Exodia piece and then add it back next turn, which obviously is not a good play, but what are we doing here? What are we banishing? A Thunder Dragon. Wait a second, Kidar, I just said you're playing Yubel because you can't play Thunder Dragon. He is playing Thunder Dragon with Yubel. What the? Thunder Dragon Hawk. Reborning Thunder Dragon Dark. It's like, what are you talking about, DK? I'm still playing Thunder Dragon. I'm just evolving with the meta. Yama is here. Gee, I write that down before on the YouTube thing. You're gonna have to remember, Thunder Dragon Yubel. Don't write Yubel. I know you're gonna mess it up. Don't do it. We got the Nibiru token plus the Shivara as we're locked into Fiend-type monsters only, linking off into Soul of Rage. Soul of Rage cannot link off with the Nibiru on our own turn, but on the opponent's turn, we can. The Anguish could link off with it if we further link up into it. If we have that, we do not. Now, the Colossus is absolutely colossal. It is, isn't it fully unlimited in TCG and it's doing nothing? Anyway, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect as long as you have a Thunder monster in the graveyard to banish, and your opponent cannot add cards in the deck to the hand. So Diablo Star set, so that's okay. You will just not be able to summon an Ash, then add a Poplar. Okay, so it is a bit disruptive. We're gonna send for Diablo Star. Diablo Star activating to set up from the back row a Subversion. So this is where we could link off into Little Knight and then banish the Subversion. Instead, we're gonna use Escape of the Unchained. Escape, pop in the Subversion, Yama reborn the Soul of Rage. And one of the big downsides of Soul of Rage is simply the battle phase. Similar to Apollo USA, the battle phase is how you out these cards that you are going to want to be negating with, but it's protected. So we obviously did not think we could do that. And there you go, Nightmare Pain, Yubel, protect your Apollo USA, protect your Soul of Rage. Thus, you're not forced to have to activate your card within the main phase. Not even setting Imperm, you were giving up. That's a give up to me, right? We're gonna also trigger Diablo Star. Damage step, reborn itself back in the field, set itself into the back row, an original Sinful to maybe be used next turn. Reflect 2,000 damage, set an Imperm of our own. You cannot add, we have a negate, we can link off with your special summon, we can negate them onto the field, we can Ash negate. Jack, why don't we just surrender at this point, right? I don't know. It's okay if you don't. We're gonna pop the Grave Scormer, grab a D-Lotus. D-Lotus is here, send itself to come forth and summon from the deck. Spirit of Yubel. We have 4,000 damage to reflect. There we go. 1 in 1. Let's hop into game 3. Divine Temple setting up into the back row. Flamebearer, Snake Eye Ash is here. We have Max C to change that Poplar summon. We could draw in Lockbird, stop the Max C from drawing, but then we also can't search ourselves. Okay, we're negating our own Poplar. Yup, let's get to it. Let's do it. Boom. Holy moly, Maxi was supposed to keep this in check. Flameburst put into the back row the Masquerena, making a Spright Elf, Jack O'Neil. Oh my Jesus, what the heck was that? A crazy turn 1 under Droll stopping the Maxi. We have Negate, we have a Baron de Fleur Negate, we have a Masquerena, which will go into at least double Disruption. We have a Promethean Princess, so we have about 5 disruptions here. 5 disrupt is about it. Let's go. Dark Beckoning, triggering the field spell to summon our Masquerena into the back row as we're going to chain the Formula Synchron to go into that Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur, get ready for the negates. Now, even though Yubel could easily set up more negates, they're not setting up Omni negates. They're setting up a ton of monster negates and monster disruption. So having the Baron de Fleur and Borreload is going to further protect us from cards like Evenly Match, much more so. Even though Yubel does not fold to an Evenly Match because they could use Escape to pop their own cards to then trigger Yama Reborn. We have Masquerena going off into Apollo. So from 5 disruption, we now have 6. And the Apollo's untargetable, so is the Baron de Fleur. Now, when I see 3,000 attack on the field, as a Yubel player, I'm thinking 3 Yubels equals game. 9,000 damage. Can we get 3 Yubels in the field plus a Nightmare Pain to just self-reflect for game? 6 disrupt. Let's see what we can do. Spirit Gates, discard the Spirit, Reborn, activate Spirit, Apollo, negate. You're not searching for that Nightmare Pain. Squirmer is going to jump on the field but not dodge the negate. Squirmer, negate. We're now down to 4. Chaining the Squirmer was not about dodging the negate. It was forcing the negate of the non-Apollo. Because Apollo can only negate once within the same chain. So if you set up multiple effects within the same chain, that's a good way to play around the Apollo. We have the Yama on summon, going to get negated. We're now down to triple disruption here. Actually, we have 4 disrupt. Yeah, triple, okay. We have the Apollo, Baron de Fleur, and Promethean. 3 more disruptions. Little Knight is here. Little Knight on summon is a really good way to stop the Apollo if it were targetable, which it's untargetable. Because if Apollo tries to negate the first effect of Little Knight uses the second effect to banish the Apollo, thus it does not negate. And we're going to use Promethean Princess. Promethean to pop the Little Knight. Little Knight can't target the Baron de Fleur nor the Apollo, so we're still at double disruption. And we just lost our target for our Little Knight, thus Little Knight's not going to jump off the field, and it dies to Promethean Princess. So the protection of the Spright Elf here was quite good. We are now no longer protected from being targeted. We have the Apollo negating the Yama, and all we have left is 1 Baron de Fleur. 1 de Fleur, return back from the graveyard to summon our Phantom of Yubel. Pop in a Spirit of Yubel, activate to summon from the deck a Yubel, but with no Nightmare Pain, we're not reflecting damage here, into a Muckraker. When are we using Baron? Return back, summon Phantom. Now we're pinning down the Baron de Fleur, so if someone could create some fan art of a Phantom of Yubel sitting on top of the Baron, that'd be good. She could not activate without being negated, so the Muckraker is going to discard and be able to Reborn. We're protected. Discard, Reborn, Spirit of Yubel. It already used its hard once per turn to search for the Nightmare Pain, which you can't do again. Squirmer activated to summon the Dark Beckoning, then we scoop. Time limit. Are we overcooked? Okay. This wasn't really turning into some crazy wham bam lethal play anyway. We didn't have the Nightmare Pain, which did get negated. We would need some way to either use the Spirit of Yubel under the protection of Phantom of Yubel, searching for the Nightmare Pain, or we'd have to have another trigger effect at the same time of the Spirit of Yubel being summoned to chainlink block it from the Borreload, Apollo, and the Baron de Fleur. And that didn't happen. So very early into the turn, the Nightmare Pain being stopped being searched for, I think, was the turning point of that duel. Zoodiac versus MathMech. Begin. Wait, this is not really MathMech. This is a CodeTalker deck? Huh? Is this the U-Link or the V-Link? Begin. Pot D randomly banishing 10 cards off the top of the deck. Do we play 1 of Full Armored Exceed? It's now gone. We're going to chain Gamma to the Max C. Maxine to the Pot of D before they draw into an Ash or a Called By is the reason why you want to activate your Max C. You just got baited. Draw 2, drawing into another Gamma. And because we were able to link off the side frame driver, the second gamma is activatable. And the Lambda makes it so you could activate your gamma even while you have monsters on the field. Very well done. So we have an active gamma, active Ash, Trident Pop, and Max C. Triple disruption. Imperm onto the Trident, so now we're down to the Ash and Gamma, plus the Max C. Activate Max C. Addition is going to special summon itself onto the field here. Delta is also activatable. Delta negates what? Delta is spell, I think. If your opponent activates a spell card, negate. So we do have that. The Codec is going to be activating. Ash is going to negate. I don't think so. Mate, cross out, designate, negate the negate. Delta, negate the negate, negating the negate. Negate. Damn, Delta is here. Only activatable if you control no monsters, but the Lambda playing right through that restriction. Now, we probably don't play more than one driver, so the other Gamma would not be activatable. It does not matter. Just like that, let's hop into the next duel. And I should look up a quick ruling. Not by look up the quick ruling, I should read the card. The Delta, does it negate the activation of a spell or also the effect? Let's see. If your opponent activates a spell card, so if the Signet Codec is already face up, we can't negate it. We can only negate the activation from the hand or from being set flipped face up. Uh-oh, Ibly. If we could Ibly lock the opponent, they're not going to be able to special summon outside of Link summoning only, which Lambda could be used with the Ibly plus another monster. Little Knight can be used plus another monster. So if you have a way to disrupt their second summon of a monster, then they can't get the Ibly into the graveyard. So the other way to get rid of your Ibly is put her into attack and then just battle phase kill her. But there are ways to stop that from happening. We're going to activate Max C right here, right now. Ash Blossom negate, so all we have left is Veiler. Imperm would be dead. You also can't Nibiru, so we're protected from Nibiru, protected from Impermanence. Effect Veiler is the only thing we have to play through left. So let's speed this up. Making a CodeTalker inverted to search our deck for a circular. Oh my gosh. Search for circular with the Signet Codec. Ain't no freaking way. We have Gamma for the Maxi as the barrage summons from the deck, but we are not going to play into that Gamma because we know better. Now we're going to activate Maxi in response to the Third Blade, discarding a card to draw, because they could draw into an Ash or a Call by the Grave, getting rid of the Ram. Now, under Maxi, how much do we want to cook? Lambda End is probably what we're doing. So you get Maxi plus an activatable Gamma, and the Lambda has an effect to search for the other one, right? If a face-up Sidekick is banished face-up while you control this, then you could search for a side frame card from your deck, but otherwise we just have Gamma and Maxi. So one disruption. Maxi in the draw phase, Call by the Grave, negate. We don't have the Delta. And if we play Gamma ourselves, we could cross out Designate, negate the Gamma. So what do? When do we whip out the Gamma? This is it. Get ready. Small World, banishing Gachiri to grab a Firewall Defensor, which is a full wham bam thank you ma'am combo with one card. Making the Balinks, triggering the Firewall Defensor to summon for the deck. Chainlink blocking with the Balinks, so it would not be good to Gamma here unless you want to stop them from searching for a field spell. Obviously, you would not want to do that. We now have the Microcoder with the Firewall Guardian. Come forth and summon CodeTalker, triggering the Microcoder to search for the Signet Codec. And the Firewall Guardian, being sent to the grave, is going to be reborning itself back onto the field. I don't know when you Gamma. Let's speed this up. When are we going to Gamma? CodeTalker, triggering the Signet Codec to grab a code generator. We're going to use the code generator in the hand to make the inverted. We're going to trigger the Signet to search our deck for a backup secretary. Triggering the Dotscaper to reborn from the grave. CodeTalker, going to be searching for a parallel exceed. We're going to special summon backup security into an Axis CodeTalker. We're just scooping. I'm not playing with this. Ain't no way. The Axis CodeTalker is completely untargetable thanks to the effect of the CodeTalker. Just those two cards alone are enough for lethal damage, thus we surrendered. Now, Why not use the Gamma on the access code talker, wipe in the field? You can't because you can't change the access code talker, activate into wipe, and then lethal. Good job. Oh my gosh, this will be in the top 8 grand finales potentially. I'm loving it. Thank you very much. IP Taker, let's go. We're gonna Maxi in the draw phase. Disrespect in the Gamma. Bonfire grabbing a Poplar from the deck. We're not gonna draw and Lockbird our own Maxi. That would not be a smart idea. So we are also normal summoning the Poplar. We didn't special it. Special in the Ponix, under the Maxi. How much do we want to do here? The Garunix in hand or in grave is waiting for a fire monster to be destroyed to then destroy a card in the field. We are setting up the Skyburn. So what are our disruptions? We have negate, pop a card, pop another card in the field, triple disruption. Okay. Sky Blaster. Okay. 1 token onto the field. Shokan into Yama. Sky Blaster into Yama. That is interesting. Imperm, negate the Yama. We don't have a Shavara, which if we're playing an Unchained deck, we should have 3 Shavara in our deck. 3 opportunities to potentially get popping on that Yama. Kieran at the end of the main phase is going to pop a card on the field or in the hand. We don't know which. So we're going to be popping the Ponix, which would be the ideal play. You would then trigger Garunix, but we're under Maxi. So Garunix summon, pop from the deck, then reborn, then pop. We want to skip all of that. So with the escape, we're going to be able to pop a card in the field. And if the escape can be destroyed while face down, it could summon an Abominable Unchained and then pop another card in the field, which may happen. So we have 1 to 2 disruption plus the Droll and Lockbird. So about 3. Skyburn. What did I say? The face down escape is being triggered to summon from the deck. Are we going for the Abominable Unchained? We're also going to chain Garunix to come forth and summon, then pop a card from the deck, which will likely be an Arvata. We're going to summon Rakea, not an Abominable Unchained. Taking out the other escape of Unchained, which is a hard once per turn activation of summoning from the deck. Now all we have left is a Droll and Lockbird. The Yama could trigger from the grave to pop the Rakea, which is going to be difficult to pull off, very likely not going to happen, which would then summon the Abominable Unchained. We could just destroy the Rakea by battle, which could summon the Abominable Unchained. So Droll and Lockbird, no more adding from the deck to the hand. And if Rakea dies, we'll non-target pop a card in the field. And if it's during the damage step, it's going to be much more difficult to deal with. Setting up the Poplar. We could make an Apollio to negate it in the damage step if we're able to make that. Making a Link Kuribo, further link this up into a Dark. Dark, steal a Dark monster from your graveyard, taking your Sky Blaster. Further linking this up into a Promethean Princess. Promethean, reborn, a fire from the grave. Arvata. Can Arvata negate in the damage step? Where you could just read the card and you will see that it can negate in the damage step. Yes, negate the activation, thus it's activatable in the damage step. Now, if you had Yama in the graveyard, Yama could chain link block the Rakea from being negated by the Arvata. But that's not the case here. Thus, nothing to chain link block. Arvata negates. All right. And we are going to be popping the Kieran to stop the effect of summoning the Abominable Unchained. Direct attack 3600, not enough for lethal. Let's set up some disruption. We have the Arvata negate. We have Promethean Princess pop. We have Garunix pop a card in the field through popping a Kieran. We have Effect Veiler. We have 4 disruptions. Can we play through 4? Shiyama in the hand does nothing. It's trash. It's so bad in the hand. You can't do anything with it in the freaking hand. Okay, that was a pretty good Prison top deck. Can now make plays. Rakea, pop it with Shavara, sure. But Arvata negates. Damn. Shiyama in the graveyard would be really good. It would have been a good follow-up to be able to pop the Rakea afterward. Now, we are going to be triggering the Amblo Whale. Amblo Whale is going to be reborning the opponent's Yama onto our field. Thank you for your Yama, by the way. Damage step, we're going to activate. Let's go. Arvata already negated. Come forth and summon a Shavara. Okay. Shavara trigger setting up a chamber into our back row, which we can't really interact with. We're kind of coping. Abominable, discard the Shayama, right? I guess. Pop a card on the field, and then Shayama's in the graveyard. I guess, Shayama, pop, Abominable, and then Yama trigger, summon Shavara from the hand, mate. Like, I'm thinking about some hard copium. We could have kind of done something. We would still lose, but, it'd be something. Wanted Seeker, why try? Yeah, why try anything? Just give up. All right, Poplar is here. Come to us, Divine Temple, which will boost up that Poplar. Come forth, Link Karibo, triggering Poplar, equip into the back row, but boost up the field of level 1s if there are any. Shavara is going to attempt to pop the Chamber. And what's interesting here is the Chamber is a non-target reborn, which could dodge the finger. So the Shavara would go through, but if the Shavara goes through, popping the Chamber, Chamber does not summon a monster from the deck, but it will trigger the Yama, summoning an Unchained from the graveyard to then pop it, to then summon Abominable Unchained, to then pop a card in the field. Is that something? Arvata can just negate. Finger nothing. Pop Chamber. Trigger Yama. Hold up, we're triggering our cards first. Now we trigger Yama. Reborn and Unchained. Arvata negate. This sucks. This is what happens when you are the non-turn player. Your trigger effects are on the top of the chain stack, thus vulnerable to a negate. If we were turn player, our Yama would be on the lower chain link blocked by cards like the Divine Temple and the Promethean Princess, protecting yourself from being negated. Lethal damage. Let's take this into game 2. Okay, we do have Called By for the Max C. That works out. That is good. Finger the Max C. And with Unchained being the best deck in the TCG without Max C, we're now simulating that right now. So where's the purple child? Where's the Sarama? No Sarama. Okay. But really, where's the Sarama? I don't get it. Okay. He said, my bad, I misplayed. I forgot I activated Rakea because I said it. Oh, okay, so that's why you got screwed up. Okay, so you were gonna get to the child, the purple child, but we forgot that we started our combo with the Rakea. And you're playing 2 Rakea, which that's also quite interesting. I think most people play just 1. Okay, interesting. And also you're playing Sky Blaster. I mean, you're just wild. We have the Divine Temple being triggered off of the summon of the Sky Blaster, and we have Droll and Lockbird to stop the Max C. Yama could add Shavara in the graveyard back to the hand under the effect of Droll and Lockbird stopping the Max C. So we're chaining the Droll to the Ash, and damn, it got fingered. So now we are probably gonna lose to Max C, right? That's what happens. We fingered the C, and then the finger stopped our C from being Droll and Lockbirded, so we're not gonna be able to further cook too much unless we go for lethal damage. Can we lethal? Surely we can, right? Under a Poplar and Ash, and the Ash in hand will stop a summon from the deck. That is something. Yama can get negated, and it does, even though it could be adding from the graveyard under Droll. It could also add from the deck, so the Ash is going to fully negate. The Kyrian could only within the main phase summon, and oh my gosh, that's it. We're not threatening lethal damage. The Max C is just too much. Equip the Ash into the back row, poke directly. We at least have Soul of Rage. Okay, main phase 2, Unchained Abomination. Now, in what way can an Unchained Abomination turn into Disruption? If a card in the field is destroyed by card effect, we could then use the Unchained Abomination to destroy another card. So maybe if we're, as a Fireking player, popping our own card, then this could trigger to pop. Otherwise, our main form of disruption will be the Soul of Rage linking off with a monster to make something like a Little Knight to banish. So through the Soul of Rage, that's about 3 disruptions on a special summon monster. Abomination in the end phase, wiping out the field spell. Let's go. We have an active Yama in the graveyard, which could summon an Abominable Unchained from the deck. So we have about 4 disruption. I feel like saying Soul Rage's 3 disruption is kind of disingenuous, but you know, it is. Special Summon Monster gets linked off with Little Knight banishes, Little Knight banishes again. So, you know, it really is that many disruptions. It's quite conditional, though. Shavara is going to pop the Soul of Rage to trigger the Yama to reborn the Soul of Rage. There's a problem, though. This does trigger the Unchained Abomination, so I should have mentioned that. This is 5 disruption. Shavara locks you into Fiend-type monsters only. So while this enabled us to pop with Unchained Abomination, it locks us out of summoning Little Knight. We can't Little Knight now, unless Yama reborns the Soul of Rage and then pops the Shavara on the resolution, then we can now Little Knight. So I guess that's probably what we should do, right? Yama trigger, reborn the Soul of Rage, have a card in our hand for discarding if we were to make an Unchained Abomination play, which we're not. So the Unchained Abomination, the Abominable Unchained, that is. There we go. Pop the Shavara. As I said, we're no longer Fiend locked. Shavara set up into the back row. The Chamber, sure. Link off with the Oak. Kieran is going to stop that. So now the triple disruption on Soul Rage. Nada. 0. 0 disruption left. Nothing else we could do. Yeah, that's it. We did everything we could do. We even triggered the Unchained Abomination to pop a card. We attempted a Soul of Rage. We already triggered the Yama. We are at 0 disruption, and Fireking Snake Eye is going to just have their way with us. And have their way they will, as they pop an Arvata from the deck. Arvata had nothing to reborn. Ida could steal a fire monster from the graveyard. Are we now Fiend locked? No. Only if Shavara is summoned through its own effect are you locked in a Fiend. Otherwise, that'd be kind of funny. Further link this up into Promethean Princess, which is a Fiend anyway. Promethean Reborn of Fire. Not reborning the Arvata, we're going to Flameburst, push a card in the field into the back row, get rid of that Soul of Rage. Further show conning into Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix into Zealantis. Zealantis, banish the field, return all cards back onto the field, trigger the Promethean, wiping out the rest of their fields, and then lethal damage. Yep, we're gonna have how much damage here? Holy moly, 12,000 damage as we wipe out Unchained. Army of Me, I'm very happy that you joined the tournament and did well enough to get into the top 16. I hope you do so again. I want to see more Unchained, more non-super top tier decks making the top 16 makes me happy. Good job, and let's get to it. YouTube, you do not want to miss out on the top 8 and grand finale, which will be in the next video. So we're going to start this off with Unchained Evil Eye versus Cyburst U-Link. Let's go. Thank you for watching the video. Boom.